Yo, what's up? Thanks for stopping by the channel and hanging out. I'm Jared. This is the LVME doing a review of a cannabis product today. Haven't done one of these in a while. I was at the dispensary. I picked up a pre-roll here that I thought looked pretty interesting. So it's made by a company called Lit. See that little logo right there? Stands for Lost in Translation. This is a company that appears to be owned by Tahoe Hydroponics, although I'm not certain. If you look at their information, everything is listed under Tahoe Hydro's company. So I'm guessing they are just maybe a different brand name that Tahoe produces under. I'm not really sure. But I managed to get this joint for a mere $6, which here in Vegas is a hella good deal. It's a 1 grammer. This is Cheetah Piss crossed with Project 4516. And I picked this particular one for a reason, and that is due to its terpene profile. But we'll get to that in just a second here. First, as I'm sparking this up and we're talking about it, let's talk about what these two strains are. Now, there isn't a joint name that I'm aware of for the crossing of these two strains, so we're just going to take a look at them separately. Cheetah Piss is an homage. The name is an homage to the old cat piss strain, although they're not really very similar at all other than in name. Cheetah Piss is a three-way cross of Lemonade, Gelato 42, and London Pound Cake 97. Get this baby going here now. Project 4516 is a cross of Platinum Puff and Gelato number 45. So we've got the Gelato strain on both sides. Now, the terpene profile that I was very interested in right here, the number one terpene in here is nerolidol, which nerolidol is a very interesting and kind of hard to find terpene. Now, before we get into that, I will say that the flavor on this is nice. This is it's a little citrusy, it's smooth. They've cured it well. There's no hay flavor in here. This isn't harsh. It's not making me cough at all. I'm liking it quite a bit here. This is very flavorful. Nerolidol is the main reason I bought this, though. This is a terpene that is found in a lot of very strong aromatic plants like jasmine, tea tree, and lemongrass, and in certain very specific cannabis strains. Researchers have found evidence that this terpene has a sedative quality and what I find most important to be an anti-anxiety benefit. Now, a lot of people don't like smoking cannabis due to the fact that it makes them feel anxious and it increases their anxiety, and that's almost always due to the terpene profile in the weed. And this is one here with its anti-anxiety properties that you might be interested in if you're coming to a dispensary out here in Vegas, or if you have dispensaries wherever you are that you're watching this. Ask your bud tender for something carrying nerolidol. I'm putting that on the screen right now so you can see how it's spelled. Now, this also has antimicrobial, antiparasitic, antioxidant, and pain-relieving properties all found in this terpene as well. It even might act as an all-natural insect repellent, which I imagine some people are experimenting with that while growing cannabis, because being able to grow some cannabis and use a cannabis terpene to repel the insects on it would be pretty awesome as well. So, as I'm puffing this down, I got to say I'm really impressed. A lot of times out here, your pre-rolls aren't that good, okay? And that's because you have some growers here in Vegas that the weed that winds up going in their pre-rolls is all the weed that's left over after everything's been packaged, okay? If you haven't been to Vegas before and you don't know the way we have to do things in the dispensaries out here, Las Vegas has a pre-packaged rule, which means that when a grower distributes the cannabis to a dispensary, they can't just give them a pound. Like, I used to live in Colorado. In Colorado, you go to a dispensary and there's all these jars filled with cannabis, and you can look at it, you can smell it, you can, if you wanted to, you could pick out the exact buds that you wanted to have. Okay, that's not the way it is here. Everything comes from the growers already pre-packaged. So these poor fucking growers got to sit here and make 1/8 packages. Okay, like this. Here's an example of one right here. You can just see it says right down there 3.5 grams. All right. And they have to do quarter packages. Some of them do gram packages. And some of them go in jars, some of them go in sealed things like this, and it leads to all kinds of problems. There's a sales problem because not everybody's looking to buy a particular weight. So you might have 1 gram packages left over or 3.5 gram packages left over. It leads to a case of dry herb because everything is bagged up. Sometimes there's air in these bags, sometimes they sit around. All in all, it's just kind of a shitty process, in my opinion, versus other states where they just bring the weed to the dispensary, usually in a pound, and the dispensary just distributes it as they see fit. But what these growers wind up with is after they've bagged everything up for the dispensaries, there's shake and other things left over from the packaging process that then makes its way into pre-rolls. Okay. That doesn't taste like what I'm smoking here. Generally, you can taste that if you're an experienced cannabis connoisseur like myself. You can pick up on that, okay? This is very nice, though. I don't think that that's what occurred here. I'm thinking that this was made with buds. And let's take another look at the terpene profile here. The second largest terpene in here is beta-caryophyllene. Now, caryophyllene is a terpene that I like quite a bit. It's very unusual terpene. It's another one that I look to get as much as possible because it is the only known terpene that I'm aware of that binds to your CB2 receptors, your cannabinoid number 2 receptors. Your whole body has an endocannabinoid system, okay? There's CB1 receptors and CB2 cannabinoid receptors. CB1 is mainly in your brain and your central nervous system, and the cannabinoids and THC bind to those, and that's kind of responsible for the high feeling, the euphoric feeling that you get from cannabis, okay? Your CB2 receptors are on the peripheral of your endocannabinoid system, and they are mainly found like in your immune tissues, okay? And beta-caryophyllene binds directly to these receptors and has a strong anti-inflammatory benefit to it, studies have shown, okay? So if you, like myself, have a problem with inflammation, caryophyllene might be a terpene in cannabis that you might be interested in. So these are the reasons why I picked out this specific strain. Again, it's lit, lost in translation. This is their Cheetah Piss crossed with Project 4516 1 gram pre-roll. I managed to get this at a place called The Dispensary, which I'm going to be speaking to them. I want to do a whole review on them. There's not a whole lot of dispensaries here that I like. They're one of them, and I'd love to tell you why, but I want to make a whole video about it. Now that we've got some of the genetics, we've got the terpene profile, and my overall opinion that this is quality. The regular price on this pre-roll would have been $10 before tax, okay? And I would have been all right paying that for it too. $10 for a 1 gram pre-roll when it tastes good, when it smokes well. Like this is, I know it sounds silly, but sometimes you get these pre-rolls from some companies, like Redwood is, in my opinion, real notorious for this. They pack the damn thing so tight that if you smoked it as it came, you can't even light it. You can't draw on it at all. So you got to sit there and like rub the joint back and forth in your hand, trying to get the thing loosened up so you can puff on it. No problem like that here. None whatsoever. This is solid. This is a solid pre-roll at a solid price. The strain tastes good. It's smooth. And the last thing I'm going to talk about on here is the THC percentage. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions about THC percentages, and people think that you just have to go with the highest. Frankly, it's just not true. This has what a lot of people would consider to be a low THC percentage, whereas it is 17%. Okay. Now, I know people that wouldn't even buy this because they refuse to go under 20, and some of them won't. You know, they're only wanting to smoke things in the high 20s, 27, 28, 30, 32, seen as high as 33% out here. And yeah, if you've got some cannabis that is like 10% versus some that's 33%, yeah, you're gonna notice a difference. But I would argue that there's not much difference between a 17% and a 25% in your THC when you're smoking. I mean, especially when you're smoking this, like the way it works, okay? So a 17% THC in this 1 gram pre-roll joint means that there's 170 milligrams of THC in here. Okay. I consume this whole thing, that's what I'm getting. If it's 20%, it's 200. We're talking about 30 milligrams more, 40, 50, 60 milligrams more. It's really negligible after a certain point, I think. So don't be scared or turned off when you go to a dispensary and you're looking at stuff and you see that it's in the high teens on the THC. As long as it's got a nice terpene profile to go with it, you're still going to get a real nice entourage effect. And that's the effects of all the different cannabinoids in your THC, in your terpenes, etc., and all the other ones working together inside your system, and it's going to feel good. You have to be a really experienced smoker, honestly, to start noticing THC levels. Okay. If you're brand new to smoking and you're going to a dispensary, you're not going to notice any difference between a joint that's got 25% THC or something that's got 17%. You're just not. So don't even let that stuff bother you. Just buy the one with the lower percentage. It might even be cheaper. Wrap this video up. Talk so much. This thing went out. I'm going to go ahead and finish lighting this. I recommend you check this out next time you're in Vegas. Check out some of the pre-rolls from Lit, Lost in Translation. If you come across the Cheetah Piss X Project 4516, give it a try. I definitely give it the thumbs up. Hope you found it helpful, everybody. Consider giving me the like. Give me a thumbs up. The like, the thumbs up. See? Joints are already kicking in. Can't even talk that well. If you're down to sub, a sub would help. Hit me up in the comments. I'll answer any questions. Hit up any comments. Anything you want to know, just ask. Catch you all on the next video. All right. Later.